So now I guess we just came up live and here I am looking crazy. Okay, how y'all doing? I'm so glad that you guys are here and thank you for putting up with our lateness. Fortunately, this is my first time going live. Oh, this is Don one calling me. Hold on. Hello? I see. I'm live. Yes, thank you. Bye. Okay, so this is my first this is my first time going live on my YouTube, okay? So I really wanted to do something different. I wanted to do something special because right now, especially with this whole quarantine situation, a lot of us are, in a situation where we've never been before. We don't really know what to do. We keep hearing different people giving us advice on which way to turn. And some people are just lost because they don't even have the right people giving them advice. So I put up a video a couple of weeks ago on my Instagram, and it seemed to have helped a lot of people. And it was talking about deferments and different things. But the reason what made me start the conversation was obviously I was doing, figuring out things for myself. But then I had a conversation with my friend, MC Light, who I respect. And, she's a great businesswoman. But another woman that she and I both respect is Lynn Richardson. And Light told me that, hey, maybe you guys should do like, a money making Monday for people to, help them get more information. And that is what I decided to do. Since I'm always talking about money, some people say, I decided to do a money making Monday that can help other people. This is the free live, not trying to get y'all to pay for nothing. I'm just trying to figure out how to help, right? So we're giving away free game today. All right. So I want to give a couple shout outs to the people in the comments. Hello, Shaden McCrae. Hey, she says hey to me. Let me see. You gotta have some people that be on here saying negative stuff. Like, I feel like they just be wanting to get like a reaction. So I'm gonna skip those people. But Teresa Bell, hey, good afternoon. I just want to say I'm gonna be shouting out people throughout this live, but maybe I should get right to it. Okay. I just want to give you a little bit of information about Lynn. Lynn Richardson is a financial expert and an entertainment executive, which I met her through the entertainment business. She's a life coach and TV radio personality who uses her quick wit and humorous presentation style to help others achieve personal, professional, and spiritual harmony. So with that being said, she's going to come on with me today to help break down a few things that are going to help us financially during this quarantine. Let me, because like right now, my friend is controlling the screen. I'm not. So what I'm going to do is, oh yeah, MC Light is in here. I saw somebody say MC Light is in here. Yeah. What I'm going to do is until we add her to the screen with me. Let me see. We'll just answer some of the people in the side comments. So, comments. Marvelous Taps says, hey Kandi, it's Texas Bedroom Candy by Maryland. Hey girl. Oh, Lynn, there you are. How you doing?
Hi, I'm good. You like me. All of this technology is too much. I need a technology assistant.
I'm trying to get better at it, but still some things that I'm learning, like going live on YouTube.
Let me tell you, I just made it. I barely made it, so I understand.
So first of all, how are you doing?
I am working around the clock. If I didn't have to sleep, and I tried to do that for like 3 weeks, and I kind of got myself into a kind of exhaustion thing, but I'm helping so many people like navigate this thing that we are in that nobody expected. And it's causing people a lot of stress financially. And I'm just here to help. Like, it's literally been around the clock. And something that you said in your video, like you were, checking out the companies and getting deferments. What I want everybody to know is everybody who has money is trying to keep their money. So there's no such thing as you have too much money. You should, no, let me tell you something. Some say money talks, but I say money walks away from you quietly and you don't know where it went. So you have to go get your dollars. You have to go get your coins. And so that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been doing.
Right. No, I'm totally with you on that, because it's like just as much money as a person can make, they spending it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
People spending it. You got a big, I know
Exactly.
I got a big family, lots of friends, a lot of people that I'm trying to help, and in the meantime, in between time, it's like no money is being made, and so it's like for everybody, that money is dwindling, and you're just trying to figure out, okay, well, how do I pace myself? How do I make more, what to do at this time? So one thing that I know that you like to talk about is and we're just going to talk about some of the top things that you can do during the coronavirus to basically keep the money in your pocket. Okay, so that was our whole, what we said we were going to talk about today. But the first thing that we want to touch on is starting a home-based business. I be telling people that all the time, and I know you tell people that. So tell us about it.
Well, first of all, thank you, Kandi. I started this answering a question without thanking you. Thank you for doing this for the world, because you are a history-making, money-making, business-starting machine. And everybody should want to be like Kandi. I don't care what nobody says. Everybody should want to be like Kandi. And you have to have a home-based business. And I feel like Noah was telling everybody it's going to rain, it's going to rain, it's going to rain. Nobody believed him. And then all of a sudden the world was filled with water. So I have been saying forever, you have to have a home-based business. One stream of income is hazardous to your wealth. There's no such thing as going to school, getting an education, getting a good job. My grandmother taught me all those things, go to church on Sunday, wear clean underwear in case you get hit by a bus, all of that stuff that we were taught. But truly, you have to do 2-3 things if you want to get to the next level financially. You have to spend less money, because the more money you make, the more the IRS will take. And the more money some people make, the more they spend. So you have to spend less money. You have to get more money with multiple streams of income. But the reason why you have to get your money back, Kandi, is because when you have a home-based business, you have access to 475 tax deductions. See, there's a reason why the president and Mitt Romney and Warren Buffett and Jeff Bezos, the world's richest man. There's a reason why Jeff Bezos got $160 billion tax refund. There's a reason why Warren Buffett pays less money in taxes per dollar than his secretary, who makes 1,000%. And that's because of a home-based business. And I think we don't understand that we have been in the business of having home-based businesses forever. My grandmother was a housekeeper. We are DJs. We are hairstylists, we are makeup artists, we are independent contractors, we're Uber drivers. And all we have to do is run our business like a business. So, everybody knows the story of, let's say, Antoine Walker. Antoine Walker was a famous NBA player. He had a $112 million contract, but 2 years out of the NBA, he was bankrupt, and he talks about it openly. And the reason is he was giving away allowances and things like that. Well, you don't give away allowances because you can't get your money back. So when you have a home-based business, let's just say, for example, I have 3 kids. The IRS says you can hire your kids to work in your home-based business. You can pay each one a salary up to $12,400. Now that money you get back at tax time. And now the money that you just paid them, that's what they use for their school clothes, school supplies, ballet classes, furniture, all of the stuff that you are going to spend money on anyway. So when you have a home-based business, not only are you putting yourself out there to go out there and get more money, but you are setting yourself up with the tax code to get your money back. And people think that there's other ways to do it. If anybody could do it, Kandi, I think you could. And you have shown people that getting multiple streams of income, having a home-based business and multiple businesses is really the only way to build and maintain wealth.
Well, definitely. Growing up, wait, I hear it. You hear that? Okay. Well, growing up, basically, everybody knows that, I had started when I was a teenager, getting my record deal, and that's how I started, my first job. Okay. But with that being said, as a group, we started making money, at a young age, but we didn't have college degrees or anything like that. So it's like, okay, how do you get accustomed to this level of income in, you know, such a young age, and how do you maintain it? And so my thing was, as a teenager, I started, you know, picking up like financial books and, you know, different little books and stuff that I could try to teach myself of what I could do to help myself be able to maintain my lifestyle that I had got into. Because, you know, I didn't come from like a rich family, so I didn't have nobody who could pay the bills or my bills if everything fell apart, you know? And so with that being said, you know, a lot of the books that I was reading, they were saying that you need to have multiple streams of income in order to become a millionaire and to stay a millionaire. And so that is something that I definitely would preach to anybody and everybody. On top of that, like you said, after learning how to, you know, the tricks of the trade with your taxes and different things, you're right. If you're self-employed, you have your own business, it's so much more you can write off, you know, that really, unfortunately, a person that, you know, is just, you know, doing regular job and paying taxes like they, you know, how they supposed to. Another person who could be making all the money in the world may not be paying those taxes because they writing off everything. They writing
absolutely.
So
it's when you have a home-based business, Kandi, like people go out to eat all the time, but whenever I go out to eat, it's always for business. I saw in your video, you said the first thing you doing after this is over, you going out to eat. I am too. I'm going out to eat. But let me tell you something. I don't care if my best friend called me, her man quit her, she crying. We about to figure out if we going to put some sugar in his tank, you know, all of that. When I go to that dinner, I'm going to discuss business, because at some point, I'm going to say, okay, now how is this going to affect your budget? What we got to do about your money? So when I took my kids to Disney World, so my kids work in my home-based business, my husband works for the business. So when we go to Disney World, we go for business. Now the IRS says you can still, you know, go to the parks. So the whole trip becomes a write-off. So things that you do normally, like your cell phone that you're going to use, that's for business. When you go out to eat, that's for business. When you travel, that's for business. When you drive your car, that's for business. And so there's two tax codes in America, Kandi. One is for employees, one is for businesses. Employees got to pay for everything and don't get any tax write-off. Businesses pay for nothing and get the tax write-off. So that's the reason why, especially right now, while everybody is at home, now is the time to get your game on. Right. Billionaires are made during recessions, and we're about to have the worst recession ever. But I tell people, first of all, you cannot change anything that's going on except yourself. So right now is the time to watch things like Money Making Monday, to watch your show, to get the jewels, but also to get themselves educated and take action and just do it and go to the next level.
Yes. Now, this is my mantra for, you know, this time period that we're in. We got to come out of this better than what we started.
That's right.
So whether it's educating ourselves on something that we didn't know before, starting a business, like you said, or even if we had an idea for a business and we start researching that business and start, you know, doing the groundwork that we can do so that when everything opens up, we can hit the ground running, you know?
Yes.
So we have to come out of this stronger mentally than we get into it. Another thing, I'm going to do a shameless plug for those of you out there who have not figured out your home business. I always tell people, like, we have thousands of Bedroom Kandi consultants out there now, and we actually dropped our kit price for anybody who wants to join the business. Bedroom Kandi, we don't just sell adult products anymore. Now it's a whole lifestyle brand. We have, you know, bath and body products. We have, you know, you can, you know, if you're a Bedroom Kandi consultant, you can also sell makeup through Kandi Coded. You can do all of that, and you will be your own business person, basically. And we do calls throughout every month, and weekly calls to get everybody, keep them motivated on how to promote their business. But we dropped the kit price to only $35 to join if you want to go. And if you don't know how to start your own products and start your own business, you can join through us, and then you'll have your own business and you can write everything off from that point.
That's right. It's an instant business. It is an instant business, and I highly recommend it. Adult products are important. Just, I don't know how you're going to do the social distancing thing, but you know, hey, work it out. But I also wanted to just share this, Kandi, because people think that when they see people like you or myself or whomever, I was not this way. I made every mistake possible. I was born and raised in Chicago. My grandmother was 75 years old, cleaning homes for wealthy people. I grew up in the projects. When I needed money, she told me to go look in the room, on top of the shelf, behind the box, inside the pocketbook, inside the zipper, wrapped up in a piece of paper towel is $20. So when I got off to college, and I want people to understand, academic education does not make you financially smart. Because when I got off to college, I had a bunch of credit cards, couldn't pay anybody. When the creditors would call, I'd say, ask me, can I borrow the money? I'd say, can I borrow it from you? That didn't work. So when I graduated, my credit was jacked up. Fast forward, I started making a lot of money. I helped a lady with 4 bankruptcies and 2 foreclosures overcome her credit issues. And I became like a little local financial celebrity in Chicago or whatever. But I was living check to Monday. I was living a lie. I was spending more money than I made. It didn't matter if I made $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a month. I always found a way to be broke. So
girl, I know how to make money myself.
Yeah. And so, but people think, oh, you've never been through anything. Let me tell you, I hit rock bottom. All the people who were around me when I had money, they were all gone. The only person I had was God, my husband, and my grandmother, like literally, and like a couple of more people. So I spend my life helping people understand that more money doesn't solve a money problem. You have to get the education. Yeah, you have to get the education.
Yes. To me, I feel like the more money people make, the more money they spend, and the more money, the bigger lifestyle they get accustomed to. So then all of a sudden they can't go back to living the lifestyle that they were living. So it's like, what do they do if they're not making that level of income anymore? Because they started getting themselves accustomed to spending at that level of income,
Right. And the thing is, you can live that level of lifestyle, just be very strategic about how it gets paid for. So when I was on the Super Rich tour with Russell Simmons, he ain't paid for nothing. I was like, oh, okay, this is how I got to do it. So he ain't paid for nothing. And so rich people stay rich because they act poor, and poor people stay poor because they act rich, and poor people stay poor acting rich in front of other poor people, but rich people keep their money in their pocket like the really wealthy people. So, we shouldn't be ashamed to say, I can't afford this. We shouldn't be ashamed to say no. I didn't used to have a budget. I thought budgets were for poor people. And that's like crazy. I thought budgets, but a budget is what you need. And I watch you so many times when you talk about a different, a project or a business, and you say, I could tell that you're looking at numbers. You have a team, keeping things together. Ty got angry with y'all because y'all didn't do the with old lady gang, y'all didn't set it up, for the Uber Eats and all of that. But all of that is strategy. And so you're doing those kind of things. And I think those are the kind of things that you can teach other people how to do. And people have to know that they can do that for themselves, because it doesn't just happen because you have money. You actually have to work on it.
Absolutely not. And it's a funny thing that you just said that, because a lot of people automatically like, oh, well, she got money, she can do this, or oh, she's famous, of course she has that. I mean, let me just say this. I know a lot of famous people, and everybody ain't doing the same thing. Just because it's famous don't mean that they're going to be able to handle their business properly or maintain their finances, or they're doing anything to help anybody or any of that. So none of that determines on if you're going to keep the money. Like, you make it, but are they going to continue to make it, or are they going to keep it is the question. And what are they going to do with it? Are they going to help other people and other things like that? So I want to keep going down our list of things that we said we were going to discuss.
Okay.
Let's go into this live below your means, and what you were saying to me about that earlier.
Okay, so the first time somebody told me to live below my means, I thought they were crazy. I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm gonna buy as many cars as I want. I'm gonna buy the biggest house in the neighborhood. And then the money disappeared and I looked like a fool. And so I had to learn the hard way. But in my book, Living Check to Monday, because see, check to check is a blessing. That means you get paid on Friday, and by the next payday you broke. But check to Monday is a whole nother game. You get paid on Friday, you kick it on the weekend, you pay on your past due bills, and by Monday you broke. And I was living that lifestyle, making way too much money. So it was like I was an educated fool. So I taught people what I had to go through. And that's live by the 10, 10, 30, 50. The first 10% you tithe. And I don't care who you tithe to. You know, if I don't care what your religion is, maybe you want to give to your foundation or whatever. But I think the first 10% you give, the people I admire are all givers. MC Light, Russell Simmons, good givers are great getters. So the first 10% you tithe, the next 10% you save. And it's not just for a rainy day. You want to save for a come up. Like right now, stock prices are going low. It's a great time to invest in your 401k because you can get more shares for the same investment than you could 2 months ago. So the first 10% you tithe, the next 10% you save, the next 30% is cash in your pocket to help you avoid a spending addiction. And a spending addiction is what you have when you go to the store for toothpaste and walk out with $179.47 worth of stuff you don't need, talking about it was on the rollback rack and that was not on sale for you. That was no sale for you, right? And so we have to, remember those things because we buy things that decrease in value. So you want to keep your money in your pocket. I was at the grocery store. I had $100 cash. And when I got to the cash register, I had like $200 worth of stuff. Now, what would I have done if I had a credit card, debit card, or a check? Now, this is when I was trying to come out of rehab, right? If I had a credit card, debit card, or a check, I wouldn't have even thought about it. Mm-hmm. And what the world wants you to do, the world wants our people not to think, Kandi. Mm-hmm. The world wants our people to just spend without thinking. And what I know about you and others who not only make money, but build streams of income, you have to think about what you're doing. You have to think about the next move you're going to make. I can't tell you the number of times I heard you strategize about whatever it was, whether on your show or what have you, but I could tell there's a lot of thought going into it. So we want to start to think about those decisions. And I just have to take a break here just to say, ladies, we're buying these purses and I don't care how bad the recession ever get. Not one purse company has ever gone out of business. None of them. And I'm not going to say any names. So from this day forward, I say you live by the universal purse test, which says if the purse costs more than the amount of money you can keep in it on a regular basis, leave it on the rack. Just leave it on the rack.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good
$500 purse sale. Do you usually have $500? $20 purse sale. That's what you get. That's the purse that you get, and you get it with pride because you want to have more money in the bank than you have carrying on your bag, and the remaining 50% stays in your checking account for your bills. If you have more than enough money for your bills, then you want to pay off debt because there's a middleman between you and your wealth, and it's called interest. Interest is making the money that you should be making. If you don't have enough money in your checking account for your bills, you must subtract because nobody has a money problem. Everybody who has a money problem has a math problem, and that's 1 + 1 = 2. And if your stuff adds up to 10, it'll never get into 2. So we got to go back to the kindergarten level. I had to go back to kindergarten level and start adding up my stuff. And the first time I did my budget, Kandi, I cried for 3 weeks. I was a vice president at the world's largest financial institution, running their company, making them look good, and I didn't have a budget and I was broke. So I've been there.
Mm. Okay, I want to touch on what you said as 3 things that I have to say. As you said so much, I'm scared I'm going to forget something. Okay, I want to touch on what you said about living below your means. I want to touch on what you said about not spending more than what you have right at hand. And what was the last part that you were saying about knowing your budget? Oh, the interest and all that stuff. Okay, yeah. So let me hit each one individually. Don't let me forget each topic. Okay. So the first thing that you were saying was living below your means. So I'm going to give them an example of me. Now, I tell people I was better with money as a teenager than I am now. Now I didn't spend too much money, but when I was younger, because my only job was being in the group Escape, as a teenager, right? So I was trying to figure out how to maintain my life. So I had saved up my money. I didn't buy a car. I wanted to see $100,000 in the bank. So I just waited. I drove my old car. All the rest of my group members was getting their new cars and stuff. And we were doing, decent. We weren't like rich and nothing, but we was okay. So I had saved up, by the time, after our second album, I think I had saved up like $100,000. And so I had went to the bank because my mom always told me good credit is better than money. That's what she would say. Meaning you want to keep your credit score higher because if you have great credit, then you can buy more than what you actually have. Not that you want to all the time, but you can.
Right. Yeah.
She said, credit's better than money. So I worked to get my credit up. I bought my little car, and I got a car that wasn't too much so I could make the payments and keep building my credit up. I didn't want to get it off right up front because you want to show credit, that you build your credit and you want to show that you have a credit stream, whatever. So I did payments. So then finally my banker said, okay, Kandi, you need to get a house. So I asked her, okay, now this was a long time ago, y'all, but I asked her, okay, well, what kind of house, do you think I can manage? She was like, well, you could probably afford, maybe 300,000 or something like that. I'm 19 years old at the time. So I'm like, okay, $300,000. Okay, so I don't want nothing more than $250,000. Whatever she told me, she probably said 350. Whatever she told me, I was gonna make sure I didn't buy nothing that was at least 50 to 100,000 less than what she said. Because you don't want to, just because they tell you can afford the 200,000, don't mean you need to go get the 200,000.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So I bought a house that was less than what she said I could get on my credit or whatever. So that was the first thing. Then as I was living, now I used to balance my book to the T at 19 years old. Okay, you talking about not having a budget. For me, I was on a budget. I knew exactly how much my bills were every month, and I figured it out. I was like, okay, I had this many months out that I would be fine. If I got past or dropped below 6 months worth of money stacked up, I was packing. Okay, right. I was like, ain't nobody pay I'm not asking nobody for no money. So I used to be stressed out, because I don't know why I thought like that as a teenager, but that's just how I was. I want to be good. So anyway, I always tell people this, because you touched on this in what you said a little while ago about the interest situation. LL Cool J told me when we was on tour, I was only a teenager. He said, have at least one house and one car that you own. He said, no matter how much money you get, put a little towards the principal, or, loan or whatever. So as soon as he said that, I went back home. I got my little loan sheet out, and I started looking at how much of my payment was going towards the principal and how much was going towards interest and taxes and stuff.
Oh my God!
It was barely this much that was going to actually paying down how much I owed on the house. So at that point, every time I got a check, it didn't matter what it was. If I could put $50 towards the principal, or $100, extra $500, even if I got big money that the month or whatever, I better put $1,000 on just the principal of my mortgage until I paid it off. You would not believe, y'all, how many years you would knock off by just putting an extra couple $100 a month just towards the principal of your loan. Okay? That's
right.
So that was that. I wanted to say about the interest, but here's the other thing. So you talk about the one thing you were saying about how we spend money just because we got it or we got the credit card. Right. Okay. For me, now I got credit cards that I like I said, I'd be wasting money sometimes.
But you can do it, Kandi. You can afford it.
What I'm saying is, for a long time, and I still do this, I keep I have one account at one bank that I don't hardly keep no money in. Like just like $1,000, couple $1,000 in. And then I had, keep the rest of my money in another bank. The bank that I keep most of my money in, that goes towards bills, that goes, savings or whatever, I do not even have an ATM card for.
Yeah.
I like be able to swipe out of that bank.
Yeah.
If you swiping, even if you overdraft, they'll take it out of another account.
Yes.
Accounts at that bank.
Yes.
So I don't, if on the card that I could just go swipe on, I don't want them to be able to overdraft out of some money I was trying to save for bills or I was trying to save. So They had two totally separate banks. So at a bank that I ain't hardly got no money in, like you would be like, come on, kid, you ain't got but $1,000. You ain't got but $5,000.
Yeah.
I ain't got it. My homegirl, she was like, told me one day, she was like, just cash app them. And but I was like, I ain't got no money in cash app. That ain't attached to no account I got no money on, for real.
Right.
Like I don't have enough money to pay them on cash app. I'm broke when it comes to cash app. You get so for everybody who's cash apping everything,
Right.
try to do it to where, I mean, if you can, have an account at a totally separate bank, and that would be the money. You could put money that you don't mind losing.
Yeah.
Money that you don't
I agree.
Money that doesn't affect your bills, you can put that at that bank. But you don't want to be the cash apping everybody, or they be sending you requests and whatever to cash app them, and you be done to cash app some bill money in there. No.
Right.
So that's the way that you can keep from overspending. You leave your credit cards at home.
Yes.
You don't take the card to the account that you ain't got no money in.
Yeah. Okay? I love it. No, that's golden, Kandi. So that spending money, that's in one bank. And yeah, you could have a card for that. But your bill money, a whole other bank.
Yeah.
And your savings account money, a whole nother bank, no cash station card. So you can't go back and get it. I love that. That's excellent.
Yeah, because you will find yourself, I mean, when I was younger, I had to learn that lesson. When they first gave me an ATM card, I was like all at the grocery store. Oh, I'm gonna swipe. And then I had put to the side for what I was gonna pay for the bills. It was like a little short. I was like, where my money at? But you don't realize when I'm going out to eat, when I'm going here, when I'm going there, I'm just swiping. And I had swiped myself into some bill money. And that was not right. So at that point, I separated them in two different banks because they were not finna overdraft into my bill money account. It was not going to happen no more. So
I love it.
Giving you that little tip. Okay.
No, that is great. That's great. And I think one of the things that happens, so when I talk to people, they go through like the 21 days to financial freedom. A lot of people don't even think about it until what you just said. People don't even think about it. They're just kind of running around. They know it's not working. They have anxiety. They're not happy with where they are financially. But really, it just takes stopping and being like, look, I just keep swiping my card. So that's golden. I love it.
Let's say a couple of people that had, I saw somebody who said Deb Jean says, hi, Kandi, I even have a vacation account. You better go, girl. Let me find out we got vacation accounts. Let me see. Oh yes. Melissa Nolan said LL Cool J had some strong advice. Lena Banks said also put a pin on your Cash App. I guess y'all got to protect those Cash Apps because I know some people that be getting in trouble with the Cash App stuff.
Yeah.
You know? So, all right, we're gonna keep moving. Let's see. Okay. This is something that I want you to explain to everybody. You told me to be creative with your credit. What does that mean?
So right now you have to, you can't do things the normal way. So the normal way is you would get your money, you would pay your bills. If you have more than enough money, you try to do that. But right now, because we don't know what this situation is going to basically become over the next 60, 90 days, but more importantly, over the next year, you have to be very strategic and creative. So everybody needs to call their creditors and ask for an extension. I don't care if you got $1 million in the bank. I'm straight up. Call and ask for an extension. Ask for what is available. So at no other time in the history of the world have I ever heard of the government saying you get an extension on all federal backed mortgages. That means FHA, VA, Fannie Mae, and Freddie Mac, conventional loans, and of course, many other banks as well. Student loan payments that you could call your car company and you can ask for an extension of payment if you tell the truth. And the truth is you have been impacted by the pandemic. It's not only if you lost your job. It's not only if you had to experience a sickness. You've been impacted. We have all been impacted. I run an entertainment firm. I'm the only one working in the firm. Like everybody else, all their gigs got canceled. Everything. Essence Fest is canceled. I don't know what's going to happen with the BET Awards, performances, concerts, all of that stuff. So right now, be creative. Don't try to be Miss Goody Two Shoes. I was like the teacher's pet. I always sat in the front. I made my friend, like I was smart, but I was also cool. But I got on people's nerves in class because I wanted to make sure I knew what was going on. Now it's not time to be the teacher's pet. Now is the time to be creative. The other thing during a time like this, when there's a pending recession, don't overpay your bills. So if you have an outstanding line of credit and you make a $10,000 payment thinking that you're going to still have $10,000 to use, they may lower your limit by the exact amount that you paid. So try to keep your credit open. Communicate with your creditors. Communicate with each and every one. When you call them, ask for the person's name, ask for their ID number, ask them for what you're asking for, and tell them to put the conversation in your notes. And then after they put the conversation in your notes, ask them to repeat back to you what was said in the notes, so that the next person who looks at your file can continue from where this person left off. And so keep a record, because I don't know what's going to happen if the moratorium ends and people still don't have enough money to catch up on their past due, rent and so on and so forth. The other thing that I would say is this: now is a great time if you have some money to the side. So with this money that you're not paying, that's not a license to go spend money on other things. Keep your money, stack it. So if you have a 3 or 4 month extension on your mortgage, your car note or whatever, keep that money to the side if you can, or take care of your health. I say take care of your health, make sure you eat well and get Lysol, and invest in your mind. Invest in a business. $35 to start a business, a whole business that already has products, is epic. So do things like that. The other thing is you want to consider right now real estate and other ways to expand your financial portfolio. Right now, Kandi, interest rates are investment property. One of my attorney friends just closed on an investment property, 2%. Your primary residence, 1.5%. I think before this is all said and done, interest rates are going to be less than 1%, which means you're almost in a position where you could buy real estate almost for free. So if you were thinking about, let's say, having a hair salon on one level and 3 apartments upstairs, that's the FHA 203K rehab loan. You can get that piece of property for 3% down, only 3% down. Is mixed use. The maximum it can be is 4 units. So you can have your business on the first floor, you can live in 1 unit, and then you can rent out the other 2. The maximum number of units is 4. It's also a good time to consider the kiddie condo. If you have a kid in college, college housing is like $8,000-$9,000 a year. But if you have a kid in college, your kid can do the kiddie condo program, put down like a third of that, $3,000 to $4,000 down.
Well,
and then,
that's a real thing.
It's a real thing. Yes, it's called the kiddie condo. It's been around for 20 plus years. People that are outside of our community know about it. And every time I talk, it's like, we can do that. Absolutely. It's an FHA program. And all the college student needs is a parent or a relative's co-signing. So a relative can co-sign for a college student. And what happens is this. So you were going to move off campus. Most people move off campus by sophomore year, definitely by junior year. You get 4 roommates, you pay rent. Well, no, you buy the property. And then you move in 3 or 4 of your roommates. Your roommates are paying $800-$900 a month. They pay it up front at the beginning of the semester with their refund from their financial aid or their scholarship. So now your mortgage payment is $1,500, $1,200, $1,000, $900 with these interest rates, but you're collecting $3,000 or $4,000. So I have done that for so many people. It works in Georgia. College students. It's called the kiddie condo. If you Google it, you'll see everything there. So I get people approved for that all the time. And so what happens then is, now that your college student doesn't have any housing, they've got money coming in. And if you were at a state school, like my soror, she lives in Chicago. Her daughter was at Tennessee State. She bought a property in Tennessee State. Then she became a Tennessee resident. So her housing expense was paid. She's making money. And then her tuition went down from like $12,000 to $3,000. So it's things like that that we have to think about doing, especially at a time like this when interest rates are so low.
Right. I didn't even know about that when you put me up on some game.
You could buy a whole village, and I mean, because Georgia is a great place. Because anywhere along the Southern Belt, it works. It doesn't work. I live in California. It doesn't work here because the prices are too high. The rent will not keep up with the mortgage payment and the down payment. But in the South, in Georgia, Mississippi, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, all through Texas, all the HBCUs, certain parts of DC. I have 2 daughters at Howard University. That's exactly what they're doing next year. They're moving off campus, moving in 3 roommates. We're going to eliminate housing. That's $9,000 a piece. That's $18,000 that I'm gonna keep in my pocket. And now they're going to earn about $3 to $4 grand per month on the property. And then when they graduate, here's the deal. You never have a problem finding renters near a college campus. So when they graduate, they can sell it for a profit, or they can continue to rent it out while they're in grad school or whatever they decide to do. So it's game changing. Now is the time to think about that. And then lastly, the reverse mortgage for senior citizens, Kandi, who are concerned with, do I pay for my mortgage? Do I buy my medicine? Do I pay my bills, or do I live? If you are a senior citizen, the reverse mortgage, first of all, it is not a plot to steal your house. The government does not have to steal your house. They got enough money to buy your house if they want it. It is not a plot. It is a government program. It is federally insured. You have to go through a counseling program. So what happens is the senior citizen, instead of paying a mortgage, they get a lump sum. So let's say they have a house worth $300,000 and they owe nothing on it. They can get up to 60% of the value of that home as a cash lump sum or a monthly payment. And then here's what happens when they pass on. This is what I tell people, because the number one thing people say is, well, I don't want to do that because I want to leave a legacy to my kids. Well, if you're struggling right now and your kids can't help you not struggle, then a legacy, you can't really worry about that right now. You got to live. But what you can do is you can get a mortgage life insurance policy. So when you die, because as long as you're alive, the mortgage company is never going to come to you for payment. You just keep getting the money for the rest of your life. But when you pass on, that mortgage life insurance can pay off the mortgage, and you can still leave the house to your heirs, to your children or your grandchildren or whatever. So now is the time for us to take advantage of things like that, Kandi.
Wait, okay. Clear understanding. You said it's a program to where they can basically, it's kind of like taking equity out of their house, right?
Exactly.
But they don't have payments?
They don't have any payments. So it's a reverse mortgage, and it's a home conversion mortgage program. So in a regular mortgage, you have to give the mortgage company money, and your balance goes down every time you give the mortgage company money. But in a reverse mortgage, if you're 62 or older, and this is important because a lot of our generation, we're taking care of our kids and our parents and our grandparents. Like, I was born in the 70s. I have 3 children. I take care of pretty much my mom. I had to buy her a house, a car. My father had to get his life insurance. And then my 98-year-old grandmother just passed. So we're in the middle taking care of 3 generations, and we don't have a retirement unless we create one. So this is a way to minimize the burden for taking care of your older relatives. And yes, it's a reverse mortgage. The mortgage company gives you money every month, and your balance goes up every month. And they will never, it is until you die. So it's technically like a retirement plan, if you really want to look at it like that.
Okay, but with that, you need to buy the mortgage insurance that will pay off your mortgage when you die, so your kids still get the house. They won't.
Yes, if you are concerned. So what happens at the end in most reverse mortgages? So the government gives the family, the heirs who are surviving, they give them about a year to sell the property. Now, the problem is, if the mortgage balance is higher than the property value, then the heirs will not earn a profit. So people are like, well, it's not a good idea. Well, I understand that. But if your parent is struggling and you can't help them, then you need to figure out how to live right here now on this earth today. You got to figure out how to live and try to live comfortably. But the way to get around that, what I always counter is say, especially if they're in good health, get a mortgage credit life policy. You ever had like a credit card and they ask you, did you want the insurance to go along with it? So just in case you pass, they, can still pay it off. It's the same thing with the mortgage. It's a mortgage credit life policy that you can attach to it. So when the parent passes on, the credit life policy pays off the mortgage. Now the house is debt free. And if you've done an estate plan, if the parent has done an estate plan, which they should, the house should be in a trust, not a will. Do not leave your house in a will. Somebody can contest the will. Mm-hmm. Anybody can contest the will. And you can be in probate court for years and years and years and years. And when you're in probate court, they take away the fees from your estate. So you have to put the house in a trust. In a trust, and then the house goes to the beneficiary and it cannot be contested.
Okay.
Game changer.
Wait, somebody said, Denise Sizer says, I see a lady who can't leave her house to her children because of this. So what does that mean exactly?
I think what it means is that she probably owes too much on the house for her children to inherit the house as an asset free, as a debt free asset. And again, what I always say, I'm not talking to the people whose parents are comfortable. I'm talking about the millions of elderly people who are struggling to pay their bills and stay alive, to get their dialysis. So if you have a choice, if you got to worry every night about how you're going to pay your bills or buy your medicine, get a reverse mortgage.
Right. And if she would have had that mortgage credit insurance you're talking about, she wouldn't have had that problem.
Exactly. So having a money team or having somebody to properly educate them during the process is very important.
Okay. Here is we're getting close to the end. This is the last tip that you talked to me about. Protect your retirement. Yes.
Okay. So this is serious because, we're all kind of just floating around and I'm included in that. Like we're grinding every day. I'm grinding. God is good to me. I don't have any worries and I have a good life, married, good career, money, but I don't have enough money to live forever. Mm-hmm. And I don't have enough money to pass on to my children so they can live for 2 or 3 more generations. I don't have enough money for that yet. Okay. So every day that I wake up and every day that everybody here wakes up, you're grinding. But what you want to make sure is if you don't wake up tomorrow, what happens to your legacy? So I plan on being here till I'm like 100 and something. But if I'm not, if I did not wake up tomorrow, my family is set for generations because I have proper things in place in my insurance policies, my annuities that will roll over and pass on for generations and generations. So the number one thing that everybody needs is an annuity or a pension. So let me tell you the difference between a pension and a 401k. It's great if your company's offering a 401k, but a 401k is basically an advanced savings account. Let me repeat, it's an advanced savings account. It just earns money more rapidly than your regular savings account. But a 401k can disappear. Many people woke up a couple of weeks ago and their 401ks lost value. So a 401k can lose value. What you want to have in addition to your 401k is a pension. The problem is most companies don't offer pension. I have several companies. We don't offer pensions, but you can go and get your own pension by purchasing an annuity. An annuity is an income for life. As a matter of fact, when your company offers you a pension, they simply went to somebody like JP Morgan Chase or Prudential. They bought a big pile of money and it's earning interest over time. And they decide to give it to their employees at a certain time after 20 years or what have you. You don't need a middleman. You can go straight to Prudential, JP Morgan Chase, Smith Barney, Citi. You can go to any one of those places and get your own annuity. So money works harder for you than you can ever work for it. I need everybody to understand that. Money works harder for you than you can ever work for it. And once you accumulate a certain amount of money, so let's say somebody like Russell Simmons, who sells $100 million company. Let me tell you what happens to the $100 million. This is an example. I'm not saying that this is him. Here's what happens to $100 million. $100 million goes into an annuity. That's it. That means it'll last a lifetime. The annuity earns 10% interest that year. That means it earned $10 million. The person lives off the 10 million or a half of it. I don't need $10 million to live off of. I'm so cheap and simple. I love to eat. I love to go on trips that I turn into vacations so I can get my money back. But outside of that, I have a 2005 Mercedes. Like I just don't have a whole lot of stuff. It's not my thing. You live off the 10 million, you live off the interest, but guess what happens to the 100 million? It keeps earning interest. So next year, let's say it earns 20%. So next year it earned 20 million in interest. You still only living off the 10. So now it's 120 million that's earning interest. And when you pass, an annuity gets passed on to your children. And so you can then say, my children get a trust fund. They get $5,000 a month until this. They get X amount of dollars when they get married. They get X amount of dollars for school. If your parents outlive you, you can say in your estate, my parent will get enough money for nursing care. And then when those people pass on, then it passes on to their children and their children and their children. That's how people like the Rockefellers and the Hiltons create money generation after generation after generation. And it starts with anything that any one of us can do. And that's starting an annuity, our own pension, retirement, $50 a month. You can start your own pension.
Well, that was great information. Now, I know you do have a book. Well, you have a couple books, but is some of the information that you gave us today, is it in the book? Like, how can people learn more?
Yes. So Living Check to Monday, the real deal about money, credit, and financial security is the game changer. It's 7 principles that'll change your life. And it's very short because I found that when you don't have no money, you don't have no time to read a whole bunch of pages. Your concentration is not that long. Let me tell you, ADD for me, I can't do it. So it's real short, but it's laugh out loud funny. So don't read it at church or somewhere where you can't laugh, because you're going to be cracking up laughing because it's read how I talk, which is, I'm from Chicago. So add 2 and 2 together on that. Then the Symphony, a guide to creating and balancing multiple streams of income, how to start a home-based business. And I call it a symphony because at the musical symphony, there's an orchestra and it plays different instruments and they make one beautiful sound. Well, in your business, you ever seen somebody, they walking around like, my name is Lynn and I got plenty. They selling lighters and medicine, like it just don't add up. So you want to have multiple streams of income and you want it to make one beautiful sound. So I talk about that in the symphony. And then I've got Yes, You Approved on mortgages. I've got books on the spiritual path to wealth and prosperity. If you want to do that, you can get it all in the package, the entrepreneurs package, where you also get coaching and training and teaching and webinars, or you can get the freedom package, which is the 21 days and the book. So I just want people to be free and they can go. I think I posted a link up here that they can just click and start to get their stuff, get to the next level.
In our private, but I'm gonna make sure that it's right across the screen. It's going across the screen now. LynnRichardson.com.
There's a better link. I posted it in the private chat. It'll take, because that link is going to take them all across the world. There's a better link that they can post. Yeah, I put it in the private chat.
How do I? Okay, well, I'm gonna tell Dawan, Jamie, could y'all please put this link out for everyone? We're going to also add it because I think we recorded this so that we can, for people who want to log on later and watch, and we will add the link to the video so they can click it from the video.
There you go. Click that one. So then I'll know that we were in Kandi's conversation and I could give you some special things. Yes.
Click that one, y'all.
Monday. Yep. So click that link, get your stuff. Now is the time. This is the reset button. This has been a divine intervention. That's what I think. I think it's the time to. So let me just say this in closing, Kandi. Home-based businesses are winning. Home-based businesses are winning.
For sure. And I see in the comment section, Anita J said, what kit is $35? We just released a kit to be able to join and become a Bedroom Kandi consultant, basically being your own business owner. And the kit is called the Side Hustle Kit, and it's only $35. It's $35 to join. And in our company, you are your own boss. You are your own business person. You'll get all the benefits of what she was saying earlier about being able to write stuff up because you are a business owner. But we give you all the extra stuff that you may need as a person who's just getting started. We give you all the quality products, and we give you the continuous motivation and support. So some people are just starting a business. They don't know what to do, or they may, after a while, if things not going, they don't really, they're not as inspired. Well, we do constant calls. We do group calls every month, weekly chats. And I do conventions every year. I do inspirational speakers. I do everything I can to keep the people who are part of our team motivated to become successful in their business. So, shameless plug.
I love it. Yes. But everybody needs a home-based business. Yes.
Bill Braxton says, I truly needed this conversation. I did too, because Lynn, you taught me some stuff that I didn't know, especially, now, let me see. Going down, I'm reading comments. Let's see. Oh, Transform with Chris says, any recommendations for possible grant money for a small business?
Yes. Oh my God. I can't believe we almost ended and I forgot that. I'm so sorry. Okay. So here's the real deal. There is over $350 billion available to business owners. So here's the other reason why you have to have a business. And yes, Bedroom Kandi, start it. Get your business. Just get in business. Don't think about it long and hard. Just do it. I left a job as a corporate executive at JP Morgan Chase to go work for Russell Simmons. I didn't know him. He didn't know me. I just sent an email and called until they gave me a meeting, and I left there running a program. Do it. Just do it. Because they are giving individuals $1,000 stimulus checks. If you have a business, let me tell you what kind of business. A Bedroom Kandi business, a makeup business, an eyelash business, a barbershop business, like any business owner, independent contractors, self-employed, freelancers, all in the same category. You can get, first of all, a grant for $10,000. As a grant made available for $10,000. All you have to do is go in and apply. It's the EIDL loan, and you check the box and you ask for the free grant. And then the paycheck protection. So if you have a 1099, you are not working or your work has been decreased, there's a very simple process. You go to your bank, you click like 2 buttons. I've done it for everybody I know. Apply for the Paycheck Protection Program. And they're giving you money to hedge against what's happening right now with the pandemic. So that's what they're doing for businesses, to the tune of the minimum is 10,000, the maximum is 10 million. So that means every business. That's what I love about this, Kandi. All businesses.
Okay, we should talk about that a little bit, because I was actually on a conference call with, SBA director and White House advisor on entrepreneurship innovation, with a whole group of friends of a group. Shout out to Shaka Zulu, who works with so many people, but namely Ludacris. But he has been putting together these weekly calls, and then he gets people on the line with us to kind of explain things more, people who actually in the situation. So anyway, I said that to say, yes, you are correct. Everybody they basically allowing everybody to sign up for these loans right now. The one that you were talking about, everybody, it doesn't matter if you have your own business, if you're an independent contractor, if you, even if they open it up for people who have charities now, everybody can apply for this money. Like you said, it's the one loan that you can do through SBA.gov. What is the initials again?
It's Economic Injury Disaster Loan. So the disaster part was like for Hurricane Katrina. The economic injury is like now. So it's EIDL. And I actually have a link. I'm gonna post the link that people can go directly to the link and apply. But what else were you gonna say, Kandi?
So what I was saying was, and then the other one is the Paycheck Protection Program. That's the PPP. And that loan is the one that you were saying is like 350 billion or something. That is, but they've already last week given out like 150 billion of that. So you need to get on it right now, people. If you are, working for yourself or you're an independent contractor, you need to be going on and applying now. But here's the issue: with that money, they are giving it to the banks to loan us, right?
Yep.
So this is where it is important for you to have a relationship with your bank. Um,
Yes.
some of these banks have stopped giving out the loan. They have
They
stopped.
sure have.
Yes. So, people who already had a relationship with their banker, they were able to, get on top of it quick and send their, but some banks, I think, wasn't it Wells Fargo and another bank who
Mm-hmm.
they say they loaned out already, but,
Yep.
but not the technical term for it, but they basically did not, they're not, I don't know if they opened it back up, but they had stopped basically taking applications for it. And then there are a lot of for people who out there who should be getting the money, unless you have that relationship with your bank or you had somebody that you can go ahead and send the application into, it may be hard for you to receive this money. So
Right.
taking your time about applying, because if you're not able to get it through one bank, you need to be able to go and reach out to another bank or some bank, because there's a lot of banks out there who are slowing down approving these applications, and they're the ones who getting the money to give it to everybody else. I may not have made that very clear, but I don't know.
No, you're absolutely right. Well, there's a couple of things that are a problem, Kandi. One is that when you have a home-based business, you're actually supposed to run the business like a business and not a hobby. So one of the things that's happening in our community, which is why I love platforms like this so we can start to educate, is like, let's just say you are a hairstylist and you know how it is at the beauty shop. You there all day, you get money, you put it in your pocket, then you go get something to eat. And so you don't really have a record of how much cash you actually made, even though you made that cash. I knew one hairstylist in Chicago. Every single penny she got, she put in the bank. And people, they're kind of trying to hide money because they don't want to pay taxes. But the truth is, if you learn the games of the rule, if you learn the rules of the game and play the game by the rules, you'll win. So she was always able to do, like you said, she was always able to get credit. She was always able to expand her business because she actually put money in the bank. But when you put the money in the bank, your job then is to make sure you track everything. So if you're a hairstylist in the salon and you make money and then you feed everybody, well, that's a business expense. That's a business expense. So it will be tax deductible to you anyway. So we don't have the proper documentation. And then for the EIDL, the biggest thing, Kandi, is we don't have the profit and loss statement and the balance sheet. Mm-hmm. And we don't know what our projections are and our cost of goods sold. So my brother, for example, he drives a truck. He's an owner operator. He owns his truck. So everybody I knew, I was like, apply for this, apply for that. So he called me. He's like, sis, what's the cost of goods sold? And it just hit me. It's the cost of the goods that you sold. But without knowledge, like, it sounds like it should make sense, but it doesn't. So what we're trying to work on doing is getting all of our people and all of the businesses in our communities, the bodegas, if I had the money, all the DJs, barbers, beauticians, MUA, everybody would get the money. But that's just not how it works. So, but you do have to get training. So in the link that I shared earlier, there's a class. It's called Business Finance 101. And you're going to learn how to do your own profit and loss statement, your own balance sheet, and know all the lingo that you need to learn, not just for this, but in the future. So that's the other thing. And we're trying to get some money set aside for African Americans and Hispanics. So that's the other thing that's happening there.
But I mean, I'm wondering, did we not answer the question that we wanted? Because another young lady said, Goddess Behavior said, what about the grants? She said, loans imply you have to pay back with interest.
So here's how it works. So with the EIDL, it is a loan. However, there's $10,000 that they'll give you while they're in the process of making a decision if they're going to give you the loan. And that's called an emergency grant, and you do not have to pay it back. Then if you get the loan, or once you get to the process, there's a bridge loan for $25,000 that you could potentially qualify for. And people are getting the money. One of my colleagues, her client, she's in the financial services industry. One of her clients just got $3.8 million. She put his paperwork together, sent it to his banker. So that is a loan. There is a 1% interest rate or something like that. For the Paycheck Protection Program, It's a loan, except if you use the money for payroll. So what Kandi said earlier about taking her bill money and putting it in another bank, if you get that paycheck protection loan, put that money in a separate account and pay your employees, and you are one of your employees. So if you're an independent contractor, like I'm an independent contractor too. So for me, Lynn Richardson personally, I applied for the loan. I sent them my 1099. When I get my money, I'm going to put it in a bank and I'm going to pay myself. So
Right.
if the money is used for salaries, then you don't have to pay it back. But if you use it for other things, you do. So that's kind of the caveat to it.
Okay. But do you know of any other grants for small businesses that are out there right now, or?
There are supposed to be about 6 of them. I know of about 3. I know about EIDL. I know about the bridge loan, and I know about the Paycheck Protection Program. There are a lot of local governments, like I know in Chicago, in Cook County, there's something. I haven't heard about anything in LA. My attorney colleagues, they're always researching everything. They're keeping an up-to-date list. So maybe what I could do, Kandi, is with your team, just keep giving you guys the information, and then you can just keep spreading it out, to the group as we get it. And then I'm working with some other folks, like I'm supposed to be doing something with, I'm not going to say the names right now, but we're trying to get together so that they can earmark some of the money for our businesses in our communities, and to have it go through the Black banks who are going to lower the documentation requirements, because, we just have different situations sometimes. But I'll keep my eyes and ears open.
What I want to say for some of the people, I see a lot of people have even more questions. First off, let me just say, I am not an accountant, okay? I am not your financial advisor. I am only a friend who is trying to help you get information. With that being said, everything that we discussed on this live chat, I need you to go and do your due diligence and do your research and read up more on it. We cannot answer all the questions that you have, but at least we were able to bring up those things and you get an idea of what you need to go looking for. Okay.
Yes.
So with that being said, you guys are going to have to go out there, do your research, call your accountant. If you don't have an account, call, the people at your bank. Look online. All this information is online. We will try to do our best to post all the links that we need to post so that you can go to the websites and get the information. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I see somebody who said they are an accountant. Let me find you. Where did you go?
The problem right now with trying to get an accountant is that if you're new, trying to get one is difficult.
Yes, Say Yes to Profits, who's in the comment section, says that they are an accountant and they can help. Say Yes to Profits. I guess if you guys can go to their YouTube page or find them, or maybe they can answer the questions or give you more detail about what we discussed today. We can go on and on, Lynn.
I know.
Because there's still more that I really wanted to discuss about, what I said last week about telling people that they need to, be trying to defer payments if they can and different things like that. So many people had questions about that, but I saw that a lot of people followed my advice and they were able to defer payments without penalties and just getting it to be at the end of their loan and different things. So I just want to say, Light just texted me, said we need to do a 2-parter. Yeah. Information. It's too much information.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And I really want to, want to share more with you guys, but I mean, we've been on here talking for over an hour, and I don't want to just give them too much, it's too much to take at once. So
one step at a time, go to the link and get the Freedom Package or the Entrepreneurs Package. I do one-on-one coaching. I have online stuff. I actually grade the stuff. I fail people. Be like, that answer wasn't right, because I want you to win. And the reason why I do this, so after I started going on the Steve Harvey show and all of that stuff, it was like all these millions of people now had information that they didn't have. Like most people don't know they could hire their kids to work in their home-based business and get back $12,400 per child.
Think about that.
I got 3 kids. That's $37,200 a year that I get back.
Right, but what I'm saying is, if you only pay them $12,000, that's not even enough for them to have to claim taxes on, right?
Correct. So that's why it's tax free to the child. So if it's a child that's working in a parent's home-based business, so if they work for their auntie or their grandmother, they have to file taxes, but they're still not going to owe anything. But it's things like that that the government does. And so when I started talking about that, people were like, nobody ever told me. Nobody ever told me. It's an IRS publication 15, page 13. It says it in black and white. And then the SBA.gov. If you Google SBA, hire your kids, the SBA tells you 5 reasons to hire your kids. 1, there are no labor laws when a child works for a parent. So they could work any hour of the day, midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning. There are no labor laws.
All right.
It literally says it on the government's website. But why do they do that? So businesses are the engine of the country.
Mm-hmm.
Without an engine, a car can't move. I don't care what kind of car it is. And I don't care how nice it is. You tell me you ain't got no engine, I'm not interested. So the country cannot run without an engine. And small businesses, businesses like Kandi's business, my business, your bedroom candy business, your Uber driving business, these are the businesses that run the country. So they're going to do everything possible to get you to stay in business. That's why they say hire your kids, so then you can pass the business down to your kids. That's why they say travel on us. Let me give you this example. I know we've been talking.
Yeah, we got to wrap it up, but go ahead.
We got to wrap it up. But this one is like the big aha for me. If you leave your house and drive to your job, there's a chart I'm going to show you all with the IRS. If you leave your house and drive to your job, that's a commute. IRS says too bad. You got to pay for that out your own pocket. I know a lot of people who drive 45 minutes, an hour, 2 hours to work. But if you leave your house and you drive anywhere for your business, let's say you drive to the post office to drop off some stuff for your business. You drive to a restaurant to have dinner to discuss business. You drive when I go on set to go on TV. It's always a tax write-off. So when you have a business, you get your money back. I cannot reiterate that enough. The way to increase your cash flow is to get more money or to get your money back. If you went and bought groceries at the grocery store and then ate all the groceries and they said next week, come back and get your money, you will go get your money. That's what happens when you have a business. So we got to talk about all of it. It's 475 tax deductions, Kandi, and most people don't even know about 6 or 7 of them, but it's 475.
Well, you taught me a lot as well as everybody else today. I want to say thank you so much for joining me.
Hey.
Another thing I'm going to tell everybody, everybody that's a part of my text group, because I have, a text number that they can text me is 404-458-9464. 404-458-9464. And basically everybody that's a part of my text family is what I like to call it. Basically I am gonna send them the direct information. So I'm gonna send them those links directly so that they can have it. The text is gonna come right to your phone, guys. But I do want to say shout out to a couple of them that texted me while we were on the phone. Iris Ray says every Monday a new informative session. Okay, we might need to do that. They said that this live was so informative for them. Tamika Dawson said, please do a recap on all of the advice and tips. So it's a few people that's been texting me while we've been talking. And just for you guys that I see y'all are watching. So I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to send it to you directly. So I'm just going to send the text to everybody that's a part of my text family. Oh, they over here texting me links. Mary Hartfield texts me, SBA.gov, and she done texted to me. So they panicked.
I love it.
But
well, I'll be happy to come back and do any topic. We could do real estate. We could focus on a topic. And as long as we can give people the information, I want people to be free. I want them to go to sleep at night with peace in their heart and knowing that they can get up another day and grind and make it. And so you are an example of that. Kandi, you're so beautiful. You're just pleasant. I'm always rooting for you and your family, your beautiful family. And I love what you're doing, and keep it up. And thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And thank you guys for watching Money Making Monday. I hope you have subscribed to my YouTube, Kandi Online. I will be sending you the links, and we're going to keep this saved so you guys can watch it later and, you know, make sure you can understand the information that was said today. All right. Love you, Lynn.
Love you too. Thank you all. Thank you, Light, for being the connector.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Light. I definitely got I really
Thank y'all.
appreciate it. Bye. Oh, I guess.